Okay, hope we're keeping well. So today we're going to look a little bit further into economic inequalities within Europe. I suppose last week we looked at inequalities between rich countries and poor countries, between the developed world and the developing world. We looked at how much we have exploited them in the past. The likes of France and England and Spain and Portugal went to regions in South America and Africa and took their resources, made money out of them, left them in extreme poverty. We've looked at how unfair the world coffee trade is, how they grow and do most of the hard work and they get very little for it, and they're kind of almost excluded from the world trade by being slapped with loads of tariffs and taxes and charges. And I suppose we forget that there's actually economic inequalities within our own regions as well. So we're going to look at economic inequalities within the European Union. Now we've 2 case studies to do. We're going to look at economic inequalities in Ireland, okay, because it does happen that not everyone is equal in Ireland. And we're going to look at economic inequalities in Italy. Now these 2 questions are very topical on the Leaving Cert Geography, so that's why I really wanted to do them with you, okay? So today we're just going to give a brief introduction and we're going to look at economic inequality in Ireland. So some regions of the European Union are much poorer than other regions. We all don't have the same amount of wealth. New member states of Eastern Europe are much poorer than older member states in Western Europe. So like what have we now? About 27 member states. We're not all equal in wealth. We all don't have fantastic economies. Really, if you look at it, the older members generally have the most wealth and are most prosperous. The newer members are much kind of harder off and, kind of much, I suppose their economies aren't as strong, okay? However, over time, the wealth of a country does increase. And if you join the European Union, you know that your country is going to get better, because you've access to free trade, free travel, no borders, no tariffs or taxes. So, you can only make money. And multinationals can locate there easy because you're part of the same union. So for a brilliant example of how the wealth of a country can increase over time is Ireland. We joined the European Union in 1973, and back then we were the poorest member. We were an agricultural economy. All we had was farming. We had very little secondary and very little tertiary services. I mean, look at us now in 2020. We're among the wealthiest. Now, I know we're inside in a pandemic at the moment, and we can't really count that, but before the pandemic, we were one of the wealthiest, countries within the European Union. So it goes to show that joining a union like that and a common, I suppose, trade area really does benefit to create jobs, to create money, etc. Now, even within a country, some regions are poorer than others. For example, in Ireland. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide Ireland into 2. Okay, so you have the border, Midlands and Western region. So we call that the BMW region. So think of the name of the car. So that's called the border. So the border counties, Midlands, and the Western counties. So the border, Midland and Western regions are the BMW region. They're generally the poorer areas of Ireland. Then you compare them with the richer and the wealthier areas of Ireland, which is the southern and eastern areas. So you're talking Dublin and you're talking the southern and eastern areas of Ireland. Okay, so we can compare those 2 regions. The BMW region is far less prosperous. It's generally poorer, it has less people, it has less jobs. Whereas the south and east of Ireland is really prosperous. They've got good economy, good jobs, good high population. They attract in investment, good services. So we just want to compare the 2 of them. So this is easy. So the Republic of Ireland can be divided into 2 economic regions. The first one, like I said, is called the BMW region. So the border, Midlands and Western region. So we say the BMW is less prosperous. Less prosperous means it's not as hopeful looking as the other regions because it finds it hard to attract investment. It finds it hard to create jobs for a number of reasons. There's a lot of things that create problems there. Well, one anyway, it has a peripheral location. And if you've never heard of the word peripheral before, that means it's on the edge. And if you think of Ireland on a map of Europe, we are on the very edge of Europe. Now, whatever about Dublin and the south of Ireland, the west, the BMW region, are really on the furthermost edge, of the European Union. At least Dublin is closer again to the rest of Europe, whereas the BMW region is further away again. So, the fact that you're far from the happenings of Europe means that you're almost forgotten about. And I suppose I've written down here as well, you're far from Dublin too. And Dublin is where the government is. It's the centre of political power and influence. It's where they make all of the decisions. So they even forget when they're making decisions in Dublin. They forget about the BMW region, unfortunately, when it comes to allocating money to do up roads and services and improve broadband, etc. Now, I suppose what's going against it, one of the things that goes against the BMW region is its mountainous land. It's very hilly, very mountainous, especially in Galway, Mayo, Donegal. Now, with mountainous land, that gives a number of problems. Firstly, anyway, it's very, very hard to farm the land. It's very hard to farm the land and to drive machinery when it's very hilly and very steep. It makes farming much more difficult. It limits the kind of animals that you can put out in the land to probably rough grazing of sheep and goats, sheep mostly. That isn't going to be profitable farming. So that isn't going to make you a whole lot of money. And generally these mountainous areas tend to have thin soils as well. And thin soils won't allow you to grow a very good variety of crops. So that rules out crop growing then. So that rules out more money. And mountainous land makes it very difficult to build roads through. So it's very hard to draw in people to invest, set up shops, etc. Because of the poor soils, mountainous land and the climate, the farmers in the BMW region really are limited to sheep and cattle farming. And sheep and cattle farming is less profitable than wheat and barley. And to do wheat and barley farming, you need flatter land, you need deeper soils, and you need more sunshine. And like when you think of the BMW region, they're right beside the Atlantic Ocean. And that's where the southwesterly winds bring in all of that moisture, drop that rainfall, that relief rainfall that we studied back in maybe January or whenever we studied it. So that's heavy rainfall. They get more rainfall in the BMW region. That's waterlogging the soils. We know that they have a lot of peat soils. So those peat soils, they have podzol soils. We studied them. They're not fertile. They're waterlogged. So you're very, very limited in what you can do as a farmer. So farmers' incomes are very low. So that's why they're a less prosperous region. Many farms in the BMW are also small. Now you have to think, why are they small? Because you've very limited amounts of flat land. It's mostly mountainous. And the majority of farmers are elderly. They find it very, very hard to entice their sons or daughters to continue on the family farm when the sons and daughters can see how little income that you make out of it. They don't want to stay around, and you wouldn't blame them. I suppose another problem with the region is it's actually a big enough region, the BMW region. It has 13 counties, but its population is only over 1 million people. So it has a very, very low population density. So again, how do you attract in multinational companies or factories, manufacturing industries to locate there when you have a very, very, very small population? And they wouldn't, the fact that it's mountainous land wouldn't entice them in either, because it's difficult to build on. Apart from Galway, Sligo, Dundalk and Drogheda, the BMW has very small urban centres, and you need big urban centres to attract major companies. And I know Galway's thriving, it's really prosperous, Sligo, Dundalk, Drogheda, but they're only a few small urban centres in comparison to the big area that is the BMW. So the BMW is less attractive for major companies to invest there. Like, why would they go there where they could go to Dublin, Cork or Limerick or Waterford, For generations, young people have migrated from the BMW to find employment. There's very little job prospects there for them. So where are they going? They're going to Dublin, they're going to the south of Ireland, they're going abroad to England, America, There isn't enough jobs over there for them. And when there aren't people staying around, the population stays small, and places like shops definitely won't invest in the region then when they see that there isn't, clientele for them there. Is it worth my while setting up a shop or a business there if there's no workers or if there's no shoppers? Infrastructure, which is services, roads, electricity, water services, they're not as good in the BMW as they are in the south and east of Ireland. For example, the BMW has only one international airport, and that's Knock Airport in County Mayo. Now, there isn't a whole pile of activity going through Knock Airport, to be honest. I'd say if Ireland 4 back in Kerry would be busier than it, So it's just, it doesn't scream investment, from multinational companies, manufacturing industries, light industries that want to use airports. It doesn't attract in business office workers, So the international airport that they have is very, very small. It wouldn't accommodate the needs of businesses. Let's compare it now to the southern and eastern region, okay? So we're talking the Dublin area and the south of Ireland. It's a very prosperous region. It's got hope. It's got a good economy, good jobs, good money. The south and east contain excellent soils, okay, along the rivers Barrow and the Munster Blackwater. So the soils are really fertile. That means that farming is going to be good. That means you can grow a wider variety of crops. They get less rainfall. It's proven statistically. Most of the Atlantic rain falls over the BMW region. By the time it reaches the south and east, most of it has fallen. So the fact that they get less rainfall means that the soils aren't waterlogged as much. They get more sunshine than the western counties. So all of these add up to make farming really profitable in the southern and eastern part of Ireland. So farmers over in the south and east can do tillage farming. So they can grow crops. And the soil is deep enough, it's fertile enough, and it's suitable for corn. So it's making them more money. So like comparing a farmer in the south and east of Ireland to the farmer in the BMW, there's no comparison. They can grow profitable crops such as wheat and barley. I mean, most of us are eating cereal, we're eating bread. You know, all these products are so popular. That's where the money is to be made, you know, more so than in sheep farming. Farmers, particularly in the Golden Vale region in the south of Ireland, we're talking Charleville, Mitchelstown, those kind of regions. They have very good incomes because of dairy farming. So good land, good soil, profitable farming. The southern and eastern region has almost 4 million people, you know. So like the BMW region had over 1 million. The south and east of Ireland has almost 4 million people. So you have a lot more people to buy your products. If you want to locate your shop or your manufacturing industry in there, you have a lot more people to work for you. You have people spending money. You've got a good economy going. So you've got a good young population. And they benefit from young people migrating in from the BMW region as well. Apart from Dublin, you have large urban centres, whereas in the BMW region, the urban centres were small. Whereas in the south and east of Ireland, you have large urban centres such as Cork, Limerick, Waterford. They're big cities and they attract in investment, okay, from foreign companies. The infrastructure in comparison to the BMW region is actually very good. There's 3 international airports. You're looking at Cork Airport, Shannon Airport, Dublin Airport. That's fantastic for travel, for tourism, for business people flying over and back abroad. And it's also fantastic for manufacturing industries that are light and that want to export and import raw materials or export out finished products. The south and east of Ireland also has the largest seaports in the state. You know, look at Shannon, the port at Shannon. Look at the port in Cork Harbour. Look at the port in Dublin. Fantastic shipping going on for heavy manufacturing industries. It attracts investment. Dublin has a load of motorways going into the region. It has the M50 ring road, so it makes it an ideal location for businesses and for investment. Most of all though, what's really standing to the south and the east of Ireland is that Dublin is the capital city and it is the centre of the Republic's economy. Okay? If we look at Dublin, even what sectors does most of its people work in? Services, and you know that that's where the money is to be made because services cost you. The headquarters of the country's largest banks, insurance companies, mortgage companies are up there. These are all high-paying jobs. So I hope I've explained that okay. You know, that there is a difference in Ireland economic-wise. The BMW is less prosperous, less people, less jobs, less money, lower incomes. The south and east of Ireland is more prosperous, more profitable, great farming, better land, better climate, better soils, more people, more jobs, more investment, better services and infrastructure. Okay?